Welcome, everybody, to the Squared Circle Maniacs Pro Wrestling Podcast. My name is Johnny Bottles. To my left is Dr. Don Wayne, the neckbeard psychologist from Twitter. And Don, it's been an exciting day in the world of wrestling. Nikki Bella wants a job. Bubba Ray Dudley wants a job. Dave Meltzer hates Trick Williams. Sheamus has got needles in his neck. Ruby Soho, the lovely Ruby Soho, is knocked up. And what else can go on? What else can go wrong in the world of wrestling, Don?
You can watch AEW last night. That could go wrong. And it went wrong.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad, Don.
Is that where we're going to start? We're going to start with the most recent, because we also got Gentleman Chris Adams, and that guy's a bastard, to say the least, after watching that show. What a piece of shit human being Gentleman Chris Adams turned out to be, huh?
He was a great guy.
Jeez, Lord.
Just a great guy.
I guess we should talk about AEW from last night.
Sure.
I looked into it. They were in a building, and maybe they're learning their lesson.
Smaller building.
It was a smaller building. It'll hold 6,000 people. So they sold 3,000 tickets. To be exact, it was just over 3,000 tickets. So that's how many were distributed. Let's put that out there. We don't know that it was sold, but they definitely distributed 3,000. And the crowd sounded good. The crowd sounded up for most of the show. We're going to talk about the times they didn't. And it was real obvious when they didn't, because you could hear a damn pin drop in there. Once again, Thank you for joining the show this evening. Please like and subscribe. Hit that subscription button. If you got something to say, put $1 in the old change box. Let's read what you got tonight, Twitter folks and YouTube peoples. Let's go that route. The way AEW started off, I had a feeling it was going to start off this way, and I don't understand why. Jon Moxley started the show. The new IWGP champion. And I don't understand anything about this. I don't understand why. The belt, by the way, I've never seen a belt go from IWGP belt used to look great. It used to be the standard. I was not ever a fan of the New Japan Pro Wrestling, but I respected that belt. It looked sharp. It looked great. This thing looks like a throwback to a Divas title from the early 2000s. It's hideous looking. There's nothing about this belt at all that is appealing to the eye. It looks like shit.
Right.
Moxley came out and started doing a rah-rah speech to the crowd, right? Like, that's what he's doing. It's, hey, we had a bad week last week. Let's get this thing going. I'm going to pump the crowd up. I'm Jon Moxley and you're not. I'm going to talk some shit. And then he said something that caught my eye.
What was that?
I've been chasing the IWGP title for 5 years. Now, I don't know much about wrestling. I'm not a promoter. I'm not the guy that's going to sell tickets, but I do know this much. If you're in my company and you're telling me you've been chasing another title for 5 years, even though you've been the world champion in my company, I'm taking that as a slight, because just as a fan, I took it as a slight last night. I took it as a less than moment. I suddenly thought, well, if you were chasing the IWGP belt, why the hell does the AEW title even matter anymore? If that's the belt everybody should have. I didn't understand that. He could have done his promo and said, hey, look, I'm the new IWGP champion, which, by the way, I'm not a big fan of all this crossover shit, because AEW's having a hard enough time right now distinguishing their own titles without bringing in another company's horse shit on here. Because let's face it, New Japan Pro Wrestling is a dying on the vine product. It's not as good as it was.
You're right. Let me say this on what you just said. Would it have been hard for them to put together? I know he's got a lot of people in the payroll, especially in production. Would have been hard for them to put together a little video, maybe a 2-minute video on the history of the IWGP title and the rich wrestling history behind it. How many greats have held that belt? Could they have done that to make this thing seem like it's a bigger deal than Jon Moxley coming out, the toughest man in the world, giving a rah-rah speech?
I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't do that. I would not do that. I wouldn't put this belt over as much as they are. It's making everything in your company look less than. If you're telling me your ex-AEW champion has been chasing another title for 5 years and this suddenly matters, I don't understand why the hell I'm watching your product now. Why do I give a shit about these other champions? You've got a Ring of Honor belt on an AEW program that I don't give two shits about anymore. And now you're bringing this in. You're bringing in this new Divas Championship that John Moxley's toting around. I don't care about this belt. And the other part about this whole thing is, they're
probably going to bring in Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella will take the belt
away from John Moxley. They talked about that shit. They introduce him the same way every time, and it plucks every damn nerve that I have. Gian! Why does that guy have to say his name like that? I've never once when I've called you gone, hey, Gianni Bottles. It's hey, Johnny. It's not Gian. It's just
more accent on the bottles. You got to stretch the bottles out to 15 syllables like this guy does.
It's annoying beyond words, but
he is the shits, the shivering shits. He got fired from WWE, and it was a reason why. Because backstage he was a weirdo, and he's insufferable in the microphone. That's just my personal opinion, folks. Don't hold it against me. You know, don't get upset. I'm just saying, this guy, I don't even know this guy's name. I forgot his name. I'm sure the chat will say who it is. I think it's care less.
It's Clark Gable, I believe is his name.
Clark Gable. Jack Falkman. Yes, Jack Falkman. Jack Falkman Gable.
And I might be
Chad's brother.
Maybe I'm wrong, but this promoting, and by the way, which this is how you start your go-home show for a pay-per-view this weekend, by propping out another champion. Suddenly I was like, oh shit, don't they have a pay-per-view? Like, we'll get to that a little bit later. I totally forgot.
There's a pay-per-view this weekend?
Yes.
There's a pay-per-view? That's
what I'm saying. This did not help your product. You highlighted a new champion for another show. It just didn't make any sense to me that this is what you're going to start your show off with. They should have started the show off with Samoa Joe coming out and cutting a promo in the ring, which I want to talk about that in a minute. But that's all I've got. The other part about this, he said, I'm the best in the world. This title means I'm the best in the world. Again, you're diminishing everything about the AEW title of the champion. I don't get it, dude. I don't get it. I don't get it.
If so, why Swerve Strickland fighting for the AEW title when he should be fighting for the IWGP title? Be that as it may, why wouldn't Samoa Joe fight for the IWGP title if that's the best title they got? When are they going to do that?
I don't know. And at the end of this thing, he challenges Will Hobbs to a match next Wednesday because apparently on a Saturday show that nobody watches, Bryan Danielson got jumped by the Don Callis group and nobody knows, nor do they give a shit. So that's how that whole thing ended. Me not giving a shit.
It's Take a Shitta. It's Don Callis. It's Powerhouse Hobbs. It's, I don't know, the kid with the blonde hair, Justin Timberlake's younger brother. I don't know. It's horrible.
Anyway, on to the next segment.
We'll talk about that bullshit later on. That was terrible.
Mercedes
but Moxley
Moné
comes out. I'm not done with Moxley yet.
Okay.
Moxley walks out to the ring like he's the toughest plumber on the planet. What's the deal?
What
is the deal?
He wants to be Stone Cold, and he doesn't have the physique, and he doesn't have the charisma, and he doesn't have the size, and he doesn't have the it. I understand no, let me take that back. There are fans of his. I don't understand why. He's a poor man's Steve Austin is what he is. He is I don't even know how to put it. He's a Walmart Steve Austin.
He looks like the toughest man at the methadone clinic.
He does. I don't
what
get
he looks like.
And of course, he shaved his head, if you didn't notice, to try to further his look of Steve Austin. He is falling further and further and trying to get that look more and more. All he's missing now is the gold chain because he's got the earring going on. So, anyway, I'm going to move on to the Monet segment because she has a promo. And she calls out Julia Hart.
That's great.
Well, look, this was not a bad promo on her part. I'm not going to rip her for this promo. This was not the worst thing ever.
Well, it was probably pre-taped. They probably did like 7, 8 takes of it.
Guarantee.
No, guarantee.
I'm guaranteed it was pre-taped. But it was not the worst shit ever. That's what I'm saying. She's had some god-awful dog shit promos in her first couple of days here where it just sounds horrible. But here's the thing. She's saying her name.
Before you go on with that point, let me ask you a question. How many promos did she cut in WWE?
I don't remember because I wasn't watching.
Because she didn't. They never let her talk. It was always an interviewer, and then someone came in and challenged her to a match, or she challenged somebody to a match during an interview, and that was it. She never cut a promo like what she did last night in WWE. She's horrendous on the microphone.
I'm just telling you, I didn't watch the shit back then because it was so awful. I had given up on wrestling altogether as a fan. I didn't care anymore. I was gone. Checked out, eat shit. I got nothing left in this business. I only recently came back, as we've talked about. Anyway, she keeps saying her name different than how everybody else in the company is saying it. Have you noticed this?
No. It's probably the overbite.
No, everybody else is saying Monet. She keeps saying it's Monet. Like it's money, but it's a playoff.
Monet.
It's
Mercedes Moné. It's the teeth, pal. It's the teeth. She can eat ear of corn through a Venetian blind.
I'm telling you, it's not.
She's horrendous.
The way they're saying her name is not how she wants it pronounced, and she's going to make a thing out of this. I'm calling it now. She is going to make a thing out of this because they're not saying the name the way she wants it.
Mercedes Moné can go shit in her wig, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, we got to talk about that a little bit. Anyway.
He's paying all that money to her, and she hasn't wrestled a match yet.
I wouldn't have her wrestle a match, and I'm not gonna say it. I have no problem with her not wrestling. If you're going to pay her that kind of money, she does not wrestle until the pay-per-view. I got no problem with that. None. I got no problem with that. Just like Jade Cargill, I got no problem with them not having her get a match until the pay-per-view.
Jade Cargill was being trained the WWE way to do her 3 moves that she can remember barely. Mercedes Moné is a seasoned wrestler. She wrestled on the indie circuit in her hometown.
And broke her leg.
Well, she probably broke something, of course. She breaks everything. But she's brittle. But Mercedes Moné is a seasoned wrestler on the indie circuit and in NXT and WWE. There's no reason why that girl shouldn't be wrestling a match.
I disagree vehemently. I'm going to disagree.
When your company's tanking, your company's in the toilet, ratings-wise, attendance-wise, why would you billboard her very first match in AEW? Why would he care about the pay-per-views when the... Go ahead.
Why?
What's the rationale for that?
You save her for when people pay money to either come in the gate and TV money. You save her for that. The same way they did Jade Cargill. I'm not going to criticize AEW for that and give WWE a pass. They did the same thing, and I respect them for it. You make the people pay the money to buy the television product. That's the difference. They see her as that star. If
you mean to buy a pay-per-view, pay-per-view.
Yes. Okay. To pay to buy the pay-per-view, you're going to have to pay to see her first match in this company. I stand by it. I think that's what I would do as well.
Don, the 650,000 dipshit, non-deodorant using fans of AEW that are stalwart fans. And there's probably about 250,000 of them that will actually buy the pay-per-views. They don't care. They don't care about Mercedes Moné. They want to see all the high spots. They want to see guys flying through the air, breaking their necks. That's what they want to see. They could care less about the women's wrestling with these shows, unless it's Sky Blue and Julia Hart and Anna Jay. And then, of course, you know why they care about that.
Okay. I mean, I think they care. I think they care. That's why they're not doing it. Anyway, I'm going to get to this next match. Copeland comes down the ring. We got an Adam Copeland match. Willow Nightingale's music hits, and she doesn't come out. And then they go to the screenshot in the back.
Sure.
And she's been attacked. And then we get a blackout again. Because for whatever reason, no one's paying the power bill unless, it's everybody else in the ring but these House of Black people. Why is it every time they come to the ring, this shit happens? Every time that shit happens. It's gotten old a long time ago. It's stale and stupid.
He's looking for an Undertaker-type gimmick. And he thinks that's his Undertaker-type gimmick. Although they're not booked to be like the Undertaker. Malachi Black. Who pinned those guys in that tournament they had for the tag team championships? Some makeshift tag team they put together of guys from the Nightmare Factory. 2 guys pinned the House of Black. Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews have put them out of the tournament in the first round. So they're not being booked like The Undertaker, but maybe he's got a Love Jones for Brody King, who happens to be a good friend of CM Punk's. Well, that can't be it, because he hates CM Punk. Why would he have a Love Jones for Brody King? Why does Tony Khan do anything that he usually does? I can see why he pushes Julia Hart. Good-looking chick. Can't wrestle. Good-looking girl. Rumor has it she's hurt. That's why she did next to nothing last night. Creative booking. And she's going to drop that belt on Saturday at Dynasty to... Who's she facing? See, I don't even know. Willow Nightingale?
She's facing Willow, yeah.
She's going to drop the belt to Willow. That Mercedes Moné is going to challenge Willow and turn heel.
Again, I don't understand the House of Black. I don't get any of this shit. I don't get any of it. It's stupid to me. Everything they do is stupid. Adam Copeland got the shit beat out of him the whole match. The whole match, Adam Copeland's getting the shit kicked out of him by a fat nobody that no one's going to remember in 5 years. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. They're trading elbow for elbow. They're doing that shit again. They're doing the stupid chops again. There was a point in the match, I don't know if you saw this or not, Copeland gave Big Boy Brody King, what they call it? They called it the flipping neck breaker. The dude landed square on Adam Copeland in that move. Landed square on him. And you can see him like, damn, dude, you're supposed to go away from me, not land on me.
You got a 250-pound man throwing around a 375-pound man. What do you think's going to happen? Gravity takes over. And by the way, people remember Brody King because he's got his name tattooed on his back.
Thank God. At least we know how that works. Dumbest, this match didn't get any better because it just gets worse. Here comes Willow Nightingale to the ring, running down there. And here we go. And this is when I said, fuck this, I'm done. Brody King's in the corner. She tags in. She gives this grown-ass man a move that he has to sell like he's dead from her. In comes Julia Hart, whacks her with the chain, puts her in a move. She's supposed to be knocked out. Game over. That's the end of the match. And then Rainbow Bright comes running down to the ring. Wait, no, that was Mercedes Moné, not Rainbow Bright. That's my bad. Because that hair was very Rainbow Bright-esque. I noticed that right out the gate. It's like, holy shit, Rainbow Bright has entered the building. Everybody watch. She grabs a chair and everybody's afraid of the smallest chick in the ring with a chair.
If you took Nicki Minaj and Rainbow Bright and Sailor Moon and threw them in the Fly's teleportation chamber from that movie with Jeff Goldblum, that's who you would have with Mercedes Moné. A melange of bad gimmicks.
This is what I said to myself. It's going to get worse. There's no way you're pulling the nose up on this from this point in time, which, by the way, let's talk about what the ratings. We haven't got the quarter-hour ratings. 762,000. That's where we are. I have not seen the quarter hours, but 762. I thought they'd be closer to 780 or 800. The fans are checking out on this show, and Tony Khan refuses to admit there is a serious problem right now. This summed up the entire AEW audience to me. You've got a woman doing moves to a huge-ass guy, just killing him, and then you have one of the smallest girls come in and whack her with a chain, and she's knocked out cold. I have nothing left on this. Did you have anything else to add to this sandwich of this match?
I have regarding the booking. Tony Khan has asked if you ever consider hiring a head booker to take over from him at AEW. He says certainly at some point nobody will last forever. That's the reality with any positions he's in. He calls AEW a highlight of his life, having more fun than ever right now. He's only 41. The company's in a strong place.
Oh, we got to talk about the strong place later.
Loads of great wrestlers are loyal to him. Mentions Forbes valuing AEW at $2 billion.
There it is.
And puts over the quick growth of AEW.
Did you see that article by Forbes today that ranked the top combat sports booking ranking money-wise?
I've got a bookmark right here, Don.
Let's pull that up because some of this shit's not adding up to me, pal, from an accountant standpoint, right? It's just not. No, it's really not, okay? Right. They had UFC, which, by the way, they got UFC and WWE as two separate entities, even though they belong to the same company. So I didn't understand how that worked to begin with, to be quite honest. How do you have the same company that's under the same umbrella broken down into two separate entities, right? Like they're sharing the offices, they're sharing the costs. So I didn't understand that, but they had MMA, they had UFC number 1. They had the WWE at number 2. They had the estimated revenues for these companies, right? UFC made billions of dollars on their estimates, made billions of dollars. The WWE made billions of dollars on their estimates, billions of dollars.
Got it right here. UFC
They've got-
11.3 billion, WWE 6.8 billion, AEW 2 billion, one championship, whatever that is. It's got to be some kind of MMA or boxing thing. 1.3 billion. Matchroom Boxing, which I've never heard of, 850 million.
Hey, we got a comment here. Bottles. I can't get it because you got the thing up.
What's that say?
I can't see it.
NXT did 650,000. It's just laughable that they almost beating AEW. Almost, Ron. And by the way, Ron, thanks for the super chat. $9.99.
Appreciate it, brother. It is laughable
Thanks a lot,
you've got, and here's the other thing, so we can talk about this a little bit. We'll talk about it a little bit later. We might come back to this, Ron, but 650,000 people for a company that is the starter group for the WWE. It's their minor leagues, right? That's what they are. It's their minor leagues. This isn't the major leagues. These are the next.
It's Triple A.
Yes.
It's Triple A. Like in baseball, this is Triple A wrestling. That's all.
These are the guys that are supposed to be coming on their way up. Well, I was getting back to the call outs on the billions. How is a company that estimated had a revenue of $250 million last year, and we've read the numbers. Everybody says they lost about $35 million. How are they rough $2 billion? How is that a thing? How is that possible? That doesn't add up to me, man. That doesn't make any sense to me.
It's probably the profit of the company itself. The profit. Now, hear me out. Profit before expenses are subtracted.
They don't show that. They didn't show the profit. That's what I'm saying. They just showed the net growth, the net revenue. That's what they were showing.
The net revenue without, not the net revenue, the revenue. Without,
the revenue, sorry. Yes.
Without
that's what I'm saying.
The expenses taken out of it. That's what they did.
The revenue was $250. Hold on. The revenue was $250 million. The other companies are making billions of dollars. How are you worth $1 billion if you're not making that much money? Call me crazy. But if you're making $1 billion, I can get that you could be a $1 billion company. To me, and this is just my thought process, this feels like somebody owed Tony Khan's dad a solid because they also ranked the NFL teams and whatnot and gave him a little nudge like a wink, wink, here you go. We're going to estimate your value to try to get you this next TV contract. It just didn't make any sense to me, and it hit me sideways. That's just me. You can't tell me that a company that lost money last year is worth $2 billion. That's the dumbest shit ever right now. This is why Warner Brothers Discovery can't merge with anybody right now because their stock's worth $8 a share. It's not worth shit. But that's for another time. Anyway.
And the rumor has about Warner Brothers Discovery negotiations with Tony Khan. They're doing it now through a third party because they don't want to deal with Tony Khan. That's the rumor going around. His demands are unreasonable, so they don't want to talk to him anymore. They have an attorney as a go-between, a neutral attorney as a go-between between both parties, because he probably wants a separate show for Ring of Honor as usual, and they're not going to give it to him.
No,
they're probably trying to take 2 shows away from him. They could get more ratings with 4 episodes of The Big Bang Theory on Saturday nights than Collision will. They can probably get 4 million viewers on a Saturday night watching The Big Bang Theory. People sitting around with their kids watching The Big Bang Theory on a Saturday night instead of watching the world's toughest plumber cut himself and shit in a ring and 2 girls making out with champagne glasses, which isn't a bad way to go. And, the usual bullshit.
Anyway, look, I'm not buying the fact that Forbes says you're worth $2 billion, therefore you're worth $2 billion. I find that laughable because this time when WWE merged just a year ago, they were valued at $9 billion. And now somehow they've lost $3 billion. But at the time of the merger, they're worth $9 billion, and they just made more money than they have in the history of the company. So anyway, I just want to cover that real quick. On back to the show of Dynamite, because next we've got the Samoa Joe interview. Samoa Joe is a professional, right?
Yes, he is. It was probably the most professional interview that Renee Moxley Paquette, whatever her name is, did on WWE Dynamite. It was fantastic. Samoa Joe is a complete pro.
Thank you, Gil, for the $9.99 sub. If you got something to ask, man, ask it in there. We appreciate it. We appreciate everybody's support. We really do. His promo, though, was flawless. Why didn't you open the show with your world champion talking shit in the ring about your pay-per-view that's coming up this Sunday? Why didn't that start the show at the 8 o'clock hour instead of the plumber with his brand new Divas title from another company cutting a promo on his opponents that he's not facing at the pay-per-view? What the shit was this, man? It's the most backwards-ass way of doing shit I've ever heard. I don't get it. Why is your champion not in the ring talking shit?
You notice when Joe comes to the ring, when he's not attired to fight, he's in a suit. Have you noticed that lately? He's wearing that blue suit or a black suit. He's all done up. Moxley comes to the ring to cut a promo. He looks like he's ready to tear the ring down. He looks like he's the guy who drives the truck that transports the ring. That's what he looks like.
Look at my new belt. The fella's got me backstage. It's awesome.
Somebody here want the porta potties cleaned out? What's going on?
I don't get it. But this segment, did you enjoy the segment? Did you enjoy the
Samoa Joe?
Yeah.
I was mildly and briefly sports entertained.
It was good. It made it feel like they wanted to fight. It made it feel like they wanted to get it on. It made it feel like they were angry at each other, right? That's how it felt to me. But I appreciated this segment. I thought it was great. Then we had what I can only call was the worst shit I've seen in forever. And it killed the show, and it killed the crowd, and it killed me wanting to watch any more of this. And I wanted to bail on this. The EVPs had their segment where FTR had some sort of a montage going, and they cut it off because they're being completely dastardly heels and saying, no, we can't watch this anymore. Hey, let's go to the ring. Tony Khan is getting on TV more and more. Are you noticing this? He's finding a way to put himself on TV.
Yes.
And then they came out there and they did their pose, which is the dirt worst, in my opinion. It's the worst. It's the most cringeworthy shit ever. The only thing equally as bad as their pose is the Daniel Garcia jerk-off dance. That's what it is. It's a jerk-off dance. Everything about this, I hate it.
Horrendous. I see Balding Buck is painting on his hairline. He looks like he's less balding now. They look like two bouncers at the gay strip club. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's what they look like.
No, what they look like is the channel changers that they are, because I had to watch this for the show today because I said I would. This was horrible, man. Everything about this sucked. I wrote this over and over again. I said the highlight of the match is I saw the Ninja commercial on the picture-in-picture, and they got a new outside grill. That's pretty cool. I might have to check that out later. That was the highlight of this match, was the new Ninja outside grill. If y'all are wondering, check it out. It might actually be worth buying. I'm going to check it out later.
Brought to you by Okada.
This is what I wrote.
They should have Okada do commercials for the Ninja outside grill. Okada walked to the ring for this match.
Yes.
And I asked you if you caught this. He walked to the ring. He looked over to the side, to his left. No, his right or left, if you're watching TV, and saw there was no one there and went, just shook his head as he walked to the ring.
Worst shit I've ever seen. It was god-awful.
Would it help the guy to lift the weight, to get in shape, Okada? He probably figures, they don't care. Tony doesn't care. Look at the Young Bucks.
I was going to say, he's in better shape than the Bucks. Like, that's something.
They probably told him, you don't have to worry about working out. We don't do that. Hell, just do your cardio, jog, whatever you got to do. Don't worry about it.
This is what I wrote. I'm gonna read you out what I wrote.
Go ahead.
I wrote, everything the Bucks do sucks. Just total nonsense. A bunch of shit happens and no one's going to remember in 2 weeks. Elbow spot with Pac and Okada. Okada giving tombstones. Fuck this. I'm out of here. That sums it. Does that not sum it up in its worst form? That's what this was.
Oh, you left out the fact that Garcia did the jerk-off dance to a Buck's face while he was in the, he had it backed in a corner. Now, pal, personally, if a man was going to thrust his pelvis in my face, that man would have got hit right in the nuts.
You at least got to take me out for drinks first. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
You at least
buy me a beer first.
I mean, my God in heaven, this was just the worst.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, at least it's not going to get any worse. I mean, it can't get any worse. I was wrong. Here comes Chris Jericho as the Lionheart. I was totally wrong. Look, I need someone to explain to me. I need someone to explain to me what the draw is about Hook. I don't get it. He is a charismatic succubus of nothingness. He has a unique look. He can wrestle a little. When he gets on the microphone, it's a dead fish every time I get while he's called Hook now. It's just the worst. Every time he talks, it's awful. His father is Taz. How is he this bad? How is he not working with him behind the scenes to improve this? Did you hear him with the get out of my ring shit? It was God.
Right. It's what Tony wants him to do. It's not Hook. It's what Tony wants him to do and what he wants him to say. That's it. Don't say much. Have your hair look like you drove up here with your head out the window to the arena. And the Ace Ventura look. Yes. And don't say hardly anything at all. And if I have to hear Shivani look up, they have that Hook signal up in the top of the arena, I'm going to gouge my eardrums out with chopsticks. It's Hook!
And you can
that's
tell that's what he wants to do.
Sting.
Yes, you can tell that's what he wants to do every time it happens. Oh my God.
You're getting dyspeptic over this.
I really am. He's eating a bag of chips, which is where it goes to shit when he gets in the corner with Jericho. His tongue is going in the grooves of his mouth to clean the chip shit out so that when he talks, he's not spitting chip shit all over Jericho. This was the worst thought out plan ever. The most entertaining part about this entire thing was Taz and Jericho interacting with each other. That was two pros interacting. And then you've got Hook over there looking like Captain Idiocy. Just what the hell are we doing here? I'm eating chips. Whole time.
Taz went down from a weak shove by Jericho. And the announcers had to put over, Taz is working with a bad knee. He's got a bad knee. Taz has a bad knee. He's probably hurt that knee just then. And Hook, look, if they put him in NXT, they'll send him to the promo class, teach him how to talk on the microphone, teach him how to look for the cameras, teach him how to work a match, and put some weight on the kid. And if I was Tony Khan, I would have said, what's with the tattoos on your chest? Where do they come from? How can you be a sex symbol now for the young girls out there with those unfortunate jailhouse tattoos on your chest? It looks like he did it with a crochet needle and a bottle of India egg. It looks horrible. I can't take it. I can't take it.
I had such high hopes for this.
I had high hopes for that kid when he started. Couple moves, he would wrestle. This is when he started. Couple moves, some suplexes, and all of a sudden, in a chokehold, done, over with, done. That was the match. 2 or 3 minutes. He was booked like a cruiserweight Goldberg. Then they got him taking on 300-pound men. They got him defending his 300-pound father.
They've got him defending a title that doesn't matter, that doesn't belong in the company, because here at AEW, your titles matter than our own. Your titles from a defunct company that went out of business 20-something years ago matter more than our actual titles here. That's what I took away from this show, and that's what I said. I put on Twitter today, I thought it was a pretty good tagline. Hey, are you an indie darling? Are you going out of business? Are you about to be defunct? Bring your title to AEW. We'll give you a TV slot, live, 8 o'clock, Wednesday.
Don, from my kitchen behind me, see where the microwave is underneath the cabinet over the show right here?
Is this a working kitchen?
That's a working kitchen. I cooked 2 Hot Pockets there while I'm watching this entire segment. And I never went back to the TV to see what was going on. That's how unimpressed I was by the whole affair.
You wanted to see the Hot Pockets cook.
Yes, I'd rather watch Hot Pockets cook in their little sleeves. With a little bit of sauce and cheese spooges out of the ends. Go. I'd rather see that than what I saw with Chris Jericho and Hook and his 300-pound father, Taz. I was not sports entertained whatsoever. I don't understand a point of the whole thing. I think they put Jericho with Hook, or Jericho wants to be with these young guys that get cheered. So when he comes out, He's not coming out the booze. He's coming out the runoff cheers.
He's coming out
from
to
his
silence.
tag partners. He's coming out to silence. It's Jericho. It's over.
You know
You're
what?
done. It's over. Open up a hair salon somewhere. Open up a hair club for men's salon somewhere, because you've got a great piece right in the front here. It looks fantastic. You look like Bret Michaels. You look like Bret Michaels' hairstylist.
He needs to quit coming out to Rob Zombie and change it over to Simon and Garfunkel and change it to The Sound of Silence. That should be his. That should be his
and
new
in the naked
song.
land I saw.
We're not doing that.
1,500 people sitting on their hands.
Some jackoff was sitting there screaming, Jericho, why's your anus bleeding?
I don't have to take this bullshit. I'm Chris Jericho.
Okay, we're getting out of hand. I've got to get back to Swerve because he cut a segment backstage. Why is the guy...
He cut a segment, all right. Was as long as a broom handle.
It was not long, right? Like, he just got up in the middle of it, was like, I'm going to the ring. Why am I talking to you? Which is my point. Why wasn't all of this in the ring to begin with? Why did they have security out there to separate them if it got out of hand? Do something with this. Instead, we've got Renee Moxley Good doing some shit in the background with these two guys that did come out, which, by the way, I like Swerve. I'm not... His promo skills, if you notice, are getting better. He's gotten way better the past couple of times.
Yes, he's more confident on the microphone now. He's fought the bad booking. He's starting to overcome the bad booking of Tony Khan. Organically, as they say. As the kids say, Don, organically. He got over organically with the crowd.
I'm going to let you take over this next part because I'm not going to bullshit you. I didn't watch a minute of it. I got on Twitter. Snooki Parazzo came out versus May. And I said, I'm out. The crowd has quit. And there's a Thunder Rosa running. And that's all I took away from this shit.
Snooki Parazzo, Mariah May.
Easy.
Mariah May is a good worker. Mariah May is a good worker. Snooki Parazzo is an average to C- worker. She's not the what do they call her? What's that term they use for her? Not the diva, the virtuosa. The virtuosa, Snooki Parazzo. Snooki Parazzo looks like she's been working on a big box of White Castle sliders and a 12-pack of Schlitz. Here we go. That's what she looks like. That's what she looks like. I would, if I was anybody's boss in that company, I'd say, can't you, first for the guys, I would say, can't we come out for an interview, can't you dress like you're important? Dress like a star? Snooki Parazzo, I'm paying you to be in shape, to be a professional wrestler. You're going to have to go ahead and lose some of that weight. It was liposuction. What are you going to do? Wear a one-piece outfit. Wear a jumpsuit. Yeah, ask Chris Jericho. He'll hook you up with his guy. He'll hook up you with his guy, his liposuction guy. I don't understand it. Mariah May looks like $1 million. She forged a name for herself in Japan. She looks like $100. Yeah, I know you don't care about it, pal. But I was disappointed by the fact there was hardly any HLA on here whatsoever. And then Thunder Rosa ran to the ring and clocked Luther, the butler, right in the face. And he was down for the count. He went down like a sack of shit.
Gil gave somebody someone throwing this up.
Jimmy C's going to have to... Jimmy C's going to have to put down his towel. And just wipe the tears away with his hands. Because...
Anyway, this ended on a good note.
And Toni Storm was involved in all this.
Yes, it ended on a good note. I'll give you that.
But as I said to you earlier today, arguably, the hottest act in AEW right now is the Toni Storm shit. Because special effects, it's scripted. I think she's writing a lot of this herself. The gimmick with the butler and the protege, who's dressed like her from her old gimmick. And every time she comes out, she leaves a little nugget of goodness, Don. A little like quip to Tony Schiavone, the announcers, a quip on the microphone, a little bit of business in the ring they do. What
did you just say?
A little nugget of goodness.
Rainbow Bright coming to the building again?
Bright. No. Rainbow Bright's cutting promos in the ladies' room for future publication on Twitter.
She really is.
Of course she is. She's in the shitter while this show's going on, doing promos for Twitter, talking about how great Mercedes Moné is. Moné. Mercedes, I got a new name for her, Don. Mercedes Mundane. That's my new name for her. It's all mundane.
Look,
I would give this whole segment with the women, I would give it 2 Hot Pockets.
I'd give it a trip to the can. I'm not even dealing with it. The only thing that saved this was the lipstick makeup thing at the end. That was pretty good. That felt like an old-fashioned women's gonna fight kind of moment. I enjoyed that for what it was. I liked it.
It was very WWE-ish, this whole thing. Outside of the fact that Snooki Perazzo's carrying around looks like a fanny pack, a flesh-colored fanny pack in front of her. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the ending. Thought it was okay. Didn't hate it.
Folks, everybody out there, if you're taking a pause for the calls, Don.
Go ahead.
Everybody out there, please like and subscribe. We're trying to get to, hopefully, by the end of this month, we're trying to get to 700 of the subscribers. That's what we're trying to do by the end of the month. Look down below if you're watching this, because you never know if we're going to do a special show. We don't have anything planned, but if something breaks news-wise, we'll come on and do a special show. So click the little bell down below. Give me a ring-a-ling with the ding-a-ling down there, and you'll be hip to when we do a video.
It's hip to be square, as they once said in the 80s.
That's right.
It is what it is. The Bang Bang segment was next. Right?
How far has Jay White fallen? How far has Jay White slid down the rabbit hole? Jay White has slid down. Jon Moxley can't even reach Jay White with that porta potty pump machine of his. They'll clean it out. He can't reach him. That's how far gone Jay White is. Now I hear they're going to be on the pre-show, Don. They're jerking the curtain on the pre-show Saturday.
I had high hopes for this guy when he came in, because that tag team match he had against FTR back, I guess, almost a year ago.
With Toni Storm's husband, Juice Robinson, who's out hurt with a bad back.
Amazing. Great. Probably it was definitely the tag team match of the year, in my opinion. So if everybody says you guys hate AEW, we agree that was the tag team match of the year. The shit was amazing.
Fantastic.
Right?
That was fantastic. That'd be anything the Bloodline did. That'd be anything the Bloodline did on the other network.
It was simply amazing. Enjoyed the hell out of it. But this ain't it. The Bang Bang Scissor Gang ended with, "We got 2 words for you." And I said it was Sack Diddler, but that's not what it was. All right,
we got one right now. We got one right now by Black Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
A little ring-a-ling on the ding-a-ling.
I appreciate it, Larry. But it wasn't a great segment. It's just, I don't mind his promos, but the 2 words for you is a callback to a late night. It's almost 30 years old, guys. Why are we still living in the past of wrestling? Come up with your own set.
Trying to stay relevant.
But it's not relevant. It's 30 years old.
I know it's not relevant. But everybody's got member berries. You ever see that episode of South Park? Member berries? Everybody's got the member berries, pal. The member berries. Remember? You remember when Billy Gunn used to say, "I got 2 words for you"?
I remember.
There you go. Yeah,
I remember.
I remember.
It just wasn't good. And then the Acclaim came on and cut their entire. Have they ever been meant less? Like ever? Have they ever meant less?
Nobody loves the Acclaim, pal. Nobody loves the Acclaim. It's over.
Did you notice at the
end? Heel.
I'm going to tell you right now, they're losing the belts, and this is why I think they're losing the belts. Did you see how the Acclaim member acted at the end of that segment?
Which one?
The one at the end. I don't know which one it is because I don't care to find out.
Max Caster, the one who raps and forgets to rap lyrics.
No, I thought it wasn't Max. Max is the smaller one, right?
Anthony is the smaller one.
Okay. He took the belt.
The tall one.
Did you see him take the belt and smash it into dust?
No. Didn't notice
He
that.
took the belt and smashed it face down on whatever ground they were on last night. It told me right then and there, he's got boo-boo face already. And he's got boo-boo face already because he's not a fan of how they've been used, and he's not a fan of where this has gone. He did not like anything about this.
When he comes to the ring and tries to rap, And he's forgotten what he's going to say 3 times live on television. What do you do? What do you do? Don't rap. Just don't rap. If you can't remember the shit you're going to say, don't rap. Write it down in your hand. Do what you got to do.
Promo.
Cut a rock promo. Have it written on your hand.
Yeah.
Hey, pal. Hey, pal. Hey, pal. Listen. Hey, listen. How hard can it be?
I really feel like they're going to lose. I felt like that was Boo Boo Face. I felt like he was trying to break the title because they've got the pink belts on him, and he knows he's not getting it back. I'm almost tempted now to get the pay-per-view just to see the belt and see what kind of shape it's in. Because he threw that bitch face first.
How do you have those 6 men fight one another when Billy Gunn beat the guy who's got the most experience on the other side? He beat that guy clean as a sheet in the middle of the ring one night. How do you do that?
I don't know. That's how I felt. I mean, I'm just going to say how I felt. Next up, oh boy, was Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy was next. It's not going to stop. And what I wrote here was, who the hell is Shane Taylor? I don't know. Don't try to explain it.
He's a Ring of Honor guy. Ring of Honor.
Don't try to explain it, because I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I don't recognize this guy's name. I didn't want to see anything about this. It was trash. I said, nah, I'm not watching this. I'm not watching this. I will pause this, go outside, smoke a cigar, come back in and finish this show. I did not give a damn about how this went. I
had paused this, Don. I paused it. I had a nice solid bowel movement while this was going on, and I came back to the couch and hit play.
No, I'm not watching.
And I'm saying I should have just let it run. But the interesting thing about the whole thing was that it seems like the crowd is turning a little bit on Orange Cassidy. They were calling him by the Jim Cornette pet name, Pockets.
Oh, were they really?
Let's go Pockets! Clap, 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 clap. Let's go Pockets! When Cassidy was backed up into the corner, and Shane Taylor was having his way with him. But Shane Taylor's got to be 275. He's not a tall man.
Easily. No, he's
275.
That dude's 300. That
Give or
dude
take.
is a cheeseburger away from 310, let alone 300.
He's a box of McNuggets away from a stroke, if you ask me. But all I can say is he got beaten in the ring, like I said prior, clean as a sheet with that orange punch that Orange Cassidy does, the Roman Reigns gimmick. Superman punch, the orange punch.
Because that's what I believe is a 175-pound man punching someone like that to knock them out cold.
You're being generous with 175 pounds.
I know I am. But no, I'm not watching this shit. Because you knew what was coming out next, and I'm going to say this now, I don't understand it. Ospreay's coming out next. Why is Ospreay wrestling on the Wednesday night show before his pay-per-view match against Bryan Danielson? That is Sunday. Why are you risking injuring this guy in front of 3,000 people? Why are you risking any of this? And when it started, I said, you know what's going to happen. It's going to be a 20-minute match because that's what this guy does. And Tony Khan will not book him and say, give me a 10-minute match and be over. And he's out there with Castagnoli, who is just officially now he is officially a job guy in this company. He means nothing anymore. I can't remember the last time this guy had a singles win.
There's no such thing as a 10-minute match in this company. Wardlow never even had a 10-minute match.
I closed out this match's notes by saying they did 400 moves with some pretty powerful looking shit, and a sorry-ass elbow to the back of the head won the whole damn thing.
I've got the quarter hours for this show, Don.
Okay, let's see what that is.
How's that look to you?
What did it start with that first quarter? What did they hit?
917.
Okay, so even the Big Bang let them down this week.
917. And when Copeland and Nightingale and King and Hart continued through picture-in-picture, 865. Picture-in-picture for me. I don't know about anybody in the chat room. You might want to let us know. Picture-in-picture on a wrestling show kills it for me. Kills it. It takes me out of the whole thing.
I hate it with a passion.
Can't stand it.
I thought it was a good idea when it started. Now I'm of the mindset I don't care. Just go to a rest hold and come back, so I don't feel like I miss anything at this point in time. So that what was it at the bottom of the hour, and who was that?
Let's see. Bottom of the hour. You mean at 8:30?
Yeah, the bottom of the hour.
7:25, pal. Young Bucks backstage promo. It
Is
dropped
that
from
the
8:60.
lowest segment? Is that the lowest segment of the show? Well,
Oh no, we got a ways to go, pal. We got a ways to go.
All right, so
It's not the lowest segment of the show.
What's the lowest segment?
Lowest segment would be
the women's match.
No, the end of the show. The end of the show. Swerve Strickland live promo and the angle with Samoa Joe. 665,000.
Wait, is that the overrun though? Because I'm not counting that.
That's an hour. That's an hour. That's the overrun.
Yeah. So what is the actual broadcast? What's the lowest?
That would be Snooki Parazzo, Mariah May.
Like I said, numbers don't lie. We've been saying it for weeks.
Hang on. And the other part of that 15-minute shot would be the Bullet Club Gold backstage promo and the Acclaimed and the beginning of Orange Cassidy versus Shane Taylor. Then they only gained 22,000 viewers for the next quarter hour because that was a continuation.
It went pretty high.
It went to 742, Don. I wouldn't say that's pretty high, but 742 is not bad for this show at the end.
No, it's not.
And that's
what I'm saying. So
that was Claudio versus Ospreay.
So again, I'll ask, what was it at the Young Bucks segment again?
725.
And what was the segment before and after?
865. So they lost 140,000 viewers because of the Young Bucks. And then it went up another, I'd say 19,000 viewers.
Okay.
For Garcia, Pac, and Penta versus the Elite. And then you had the Chris Jericho and Hook promo.
Okay.
And that continued over into the next 15 minutes, which gained 4,000 viewers.
Okay.
So
I rest my case, Your Honor. The Young Bucks are simply not a draw anymore. And they're hurting the product. And this shit is childish. And it's not funny. And it's not entertaining. And it's downright insulting. So I rest my case. So at the end of the show, we had Swerve and we had Joe come out. Swerve did a pretty cool move off the top rope. And that's all I got to say about this show. We just spent 50 damn minutes on this garbage. 50 minutes on this shitty-ass product. I got this anger up inside of me. Anyway, that's the show for AEW. We got to get to Chris Adams because this shit was horrible. Did anybody watch Dark Side of the Ring? Just curious. I'm going to give a quick rundown on that because it was gentleman Chris Adams, who was a legit judo champion. His brother placed second in the Olympics twice. He won silver. So he comes from a pretty high lineage, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What did you think of this show with Chris Adams? Because there were some things that came out of this that were just, they weren't good, right? They weren't good. He trained, the highlights of this whole thing was he trained Steve Austin. Steve Austin got a WCW contract, and he got very jealous out of that. He beat the shit out of his wife to the point that she had to have facial reconstruction. So he's a piece of shit. Yes. He's a piece of trash, and it just kept getting worse. The dude choked out a cab driver. He got into several more bar fights. Every time he drank, he got into a huge fight. He slapped a flight attendant. He beat the shit out of a damn co-pilot. Like, the list goes on and on about the shittiness that this guy was as a human being. He was just complete and total trash. Everything about this guy.
His wife was married to Billy Jack Haynes. And he was booked in Portland. Chris Adams was. And Billy Jack Haynes got the word that he was screwing around with Jeannie Clark, his wife. And she left Billy Jack. And he said, you tell your boy if he ever comes to Portland, I'm going to kill him. So he was booked in Portland. He never showed up. So he never went back to Portland. No.
And as we all know, if Billy Jack says you're going to die, he means that shit.
Yes. Yes.
Good God. He then goes to Global. He whipped a guy's weave out of his head that was sewn in. And the
Hollywood
guy
John Tatum
had to have like 200 stitches to sew his head back together. Like, what a piece of shit this guy was.
Horrible.
He got a DUI, got fired. He did some GHB. He moved on with a guy with Blu-ray. This chick died from doing too much GHB. This poor bastard Blu-ray invites him to his mom's house. He shows up at his mom's house, gets hammered. He says something about keep it down, my mom's asleep. And he comes after this guy, Blu-ray, which, by the way, I respect Blu-ray for rocking that mullet wig 20, 30, 40 years later. He's not letting that shit go. He's riding that to the grave. And then he got into a fight with him.
I'm sorry, I was looking in the chat. The chat. It wasn't Hollywood John Tatum. It was Rod Price.
I don't give a shit if it was John Moxley.
He's just as obscure as Hollywood John Tatum. But anyway.
It doesn't matter. Either way, he ended up shooting a guy in the heart. They were getting into it. It's like, damn, man, that's some crazy shit to have happen. They really got into it. So, that was a hard one to watch. Usually when you watch it, there's some redeeming qualities about the guy. They just fall into a dark place. This dude was a piece of human trash. May he rot in hell. Fuck that guy.
Right. And they probably left out a lot of the promoters would have him booked for the indie shows and he wouldn't show up. They would send him money for the airfare and all that good stuff. And he would keep the airfare money. He would get on the plane. So he was a great guy. Stiffed a lot of people.
Speaking of stiffing people,
yes,
your favorite commentator, Dave Meltzer, had something to say today. Hey, wait, no, go to the clip. Go to the latter clip. Did you guys see the latest indie darling mud show horse shit go down this past week? That was the greatest thing I've ever seen. By the way, what the hell is that, Johnny?
That's Ruby Soho's pregnant, pal.
She's pregnant.
Someone's actually had coitus with that face.
Look,
with
Ruby
Soho.
That's just a bad picture of the girl. I'm not going to rip her for that. That's a cheap shot, pal. Keep it above the belt. Show them the indie darling match that you and I had this weekend. I want to see that. Just show it real quick. It's a 10-second clip, if that. Right, has anybody seen this? That AEW was practicing this week for their next show, and this shit went sideways in a hurry. Holy shit. That's as good as it gets. That's as good as it gets.
Someone at Dynamite played that clip for John Moxley while he was out back getting ready to get into his car. You know what he said?
What's that?
John Moxley was having problems there in the mud show. He was in the mud.
Don't ever show that shit again. That was horrendous. Anyway, also, Dave Meltzer. Look, I'm not a big NXT guy, right? I don't watch a lot of NXT, and I don't pretend to. But I do know the name Trick Williams. And the few times that we've watched the NXT program the last couple of years, that guy's been a standout. But old Uncle Dave Meltzer, has decided that Trick Williams is a overrated, overhyped guy, that he has no talent in the ring. Do you have the article pulled up? Are you ready to go?
Yes, he said Trick isn't that good. That's the reality. He's got incredible charisma, but you put him in a main event match. Granted, he did look really good against Ilya, but Ilya is one of those people that gives you a false perception of the ability of the other person. It's like wrestling Ric Flair or a tag team wrestling the Young Bucks. You always look better. You see all these tag teams against the Young Bucks and think these guys are great, but this is exactly what it says. You see all these tag teams against the Young Bucks and think these guys are great, but they're never great against anybody else, and Ilya's the same way. That's a word salad from Dave Meltzer. And as Ilya Dragunov does sell his ass off in a ring. He does make the other guy look good, but that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. You put your right hand in, you punch Dave with the left, you kick him in the nuts, and then you turn yourself about. Dave Meltzer is the biggest asshole. Your reporting's a fraud today. He's an ass, dude. Fuck this guy. I'm tired of this dude getting paid money for his nonsense. Dave Meltzer, and we talked about this earlier, so I'm going to say it. Dave Meltzer has anointed himself the only guy that can tell you who the next great wrestler is in the wrestling industry. And if you don't believe what he says, you are on the outs with Dave. He has decided only he can tell you who the next great wrestler is going to be. That's what he is.
After that interview, this is Dave leaving the house.
You're not going to stop her. Oh, my God. Get this off the screen. No, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. Nope, not doing this. No, I'm not doing that.
No?
No, he really has decided he is the only guy that can decide what is going to be the next great thing in the wrestling business, Johnny. And I'm tired of this shit, man. He
wants to be the kingmaker. He wants to be the kingmaker, pal.
He has decided he is the only guy. And it's ridiculous. People pay this guy money for his opinions and because he says it's newsworthy. It's not newsworthy. We don't claim on this show to be news guys. We don't claim on this show that we're breaking news. It's absurd to me, man. Trick Williams is a good wrestler. From what I've seen, he's entertaining as hell. I'm done with this shit, man. What a jackwhack.
You know what? You know what we need? We need a palate cleanser here. We need some good news. Would you like some good news?
Well, there's Vince McMahon good news again.
That's true. Her free. She's in remission.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Good
God bless Jade Hart.
Great news.
Yes. God bless Jade Hart. Have you seen this?
Yes, I sent that out to you. This is Pro Wrestler versus AEW Wrestler Selling. This is the best. If you haven't seen it, it's so worth your time. Because these two dudes look like Jon Moxley and Chris Jericho, and it's great.
That's the Eddie Kingston's fast shot.
That is the Eddie Kingston spot, yes. Please stop, mister.
I love it.
This is why AEW has become a joke to me. I mean, just a joke. If this is your first time watching, please thank you and subscribe. We appreciate all the support. Got a couple other things to cover here. Vince McMahon is back in the news again. He has put like 8 million shares up for sale recently.
Yes.
He's completely out of the game. He's gone. We talked about it some Tuesday. It's all up for sale now. Like, he's gone.
He's
done.
I wanted to read this. Done.
I wanted to read this. Janelle Grant responding to NBC's reporting that Dwayne Johnson and Cena are still in touch with Vince McMahon. It's shameful that Mr. Johnson and Cena. All right, killer. It's shameful that Johnson and Cena would still associate themselves with an individual with decades of blah, 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 blah. Guys, let the trial play out. Stop being the judge and the jury. It's getting old.
Of course.
Like, let it happen. Because I don't know if everybody's seen, but there's love letters now that are coming out that she's written the guy. So let this all play. I'm not saying the guy's innocent.
She wrote those under duress.
That's what she's saying. So again, there's 24 reiterations of them. So I'm just saying, man, like
I'm suing him because he didn't pay me. I mean, he shit in my head.
I'm done with all of this. Just
let
it play out. No, you're not wrong. Just let it play out. There was also one other big news break today that I want to talk about.
What was that?
Roman Reigns has taken an indefinite break from television. Did you see that?
Yes. He's filming a movie.
That's what I heard. He is filming a movie. He will indefinitely be gone. There is no timeline on his return. It all depends on the booking of the movie in question. So good for him. He's more than earned it. I hope he becomes a special attraction. Yes, I saw this set. What is this a set for?
That's set to the movie Good Fortune. Supposedly he's a crime lord, and he's the villain, I believe. And Keke Palmer, Seth Rogen, and Keanu Reeves are all in the movie.
All I can say is good for him, man. I mean, that guy's gone through hell with cancer. He's been a mainstay in wrestling for the last, believe it or not, This guy's been a mainstay in wrestling for almost a decade, a little over a decade now. He's been the top guy for 3 years now. So he's more than earned some time off. So I'm glad to see it. Good for him. I'm pretty excited. SmackDown is tomorrow, Johnny.
Yes. Yes. Have you heard about Nyla Rose?
I have not. No.
The Oklahoma Athletic Commission had a meeting about a transgender wrestler.
Yes, I did hear about this.
Yes. In regards to Nyla Rose competing, the commission passed a motion to warn AEW to not do this again, or there will be punitive action taken. The administrator, Joe Miller, explained that AEW, a professional wrestling organization, had an event at the Paycom Center on December 20th, 2023, where a transgender wrestler, born male, had a match with a female wrestler. OSAC had no idea, that's the Athletic Commission, had no idea as the wrestler had filled his wrestling license application as a female. OSAC was alerted by the local wrestling organization that had previously done the same thing. That organization acknowledged that they knew that it was a violation of the OSAC rules and they would refrain from doing it again in the future. Joe Miller explained that he called AEW, explained it was a violation of the OSAC rules. He then asked the commission if there's any other action they would like to take against AEW. Mike Bauer stated that OSAC boxing, kickboxing, MMA applications all ask if someone has had gender reassignment, but the wrestling application does not. He stated that it needs to be updated so it doesn't happen in the future. Commission members ask questions, blah, 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 blah. Do not do it again.
That's pretty big. That's pretty big for AEW in that state, to be honest.
Yes, Oklahoma. Have you heard Nikki Bella wants to come back to wrestling?
Don't start with this shit.
She wants that bag, pal.
That's not her name.
She wants the Tony Khan bag.
That's not her name. That's not her name.
Nicole Garcia. I'm sorry. Nicole Garcia.
She will never be able to use that Nikki Bella name again.
No, the Garcia twins. That's what it'll be. The Garcia girls.
Dude, I'd never want to see them on TV again. I didn't like them the first iteration. I stopped watching wrestling during that time.
They were horrendous in the ring. Horrible.
Anyway.
They were no Willow Nightingale, pal, but they were horrible in the ring. I told you Ruby Soho's pregnant.
Yes, you told me Ruby Soho's pregnant. Good God. I want to thank everybody for watching tonight. Please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell.
Yes.
We love to have the support.
Please.
We have a good time here. We try to keep it lighthearted. If we don't like your favorite wrestlers, that's okay. You probably don't like ours. That's just the way wrestling works, pal. But ratings don't lie, and ratings prove that the Young Bucks have lost all their momentum. Am I wrong there?
They're done. They're done. They're done.
It's just horrible to watch that shit. But do you have any other news and notes that you've got to get to before we...
I've got a palate cleanser right now. This is
what is
Liv Morgan, JoJo Offerman, and CJ Perry climbing the throne of the House of the Dragon. Season 2 cast party. That's
Liv
a palate
Morgan's
cleanser.
in
Can't
that
make
shit?
it. She's right there. Right there.
Is
with the
she
glasses.
in the show, though?
She's in the show. She's in the show.
I didn't know that.
She's one shot, just a guest appearance in the show. She's probably playing a female villager number 2.
The dragon ate my baby.
The dragon ate my baby. By the way, CJ Perry no longer married to Miro.
Oh, we're going to do this. I'm not doing this. That's their own business,
Nope.
man.
No longer married to Miro. It's news. It's no longer married to Miro. Damian Priest is currently dating CJ Perry.
Allegedly.
Bondage Undertaker is dating CJ Perry.
God damn it. Get me out.
Damn it. Damn it. Damn it to hell.
Thank you all. Like and subscribe. Hit that notification button. Johnny, take us home, pal. I do appreciate all the support. God knows.
I'm trying to take us home, pal. I can't find it.
By the way, does everybody like the new background? Johnny worked hard on this. We had to, I was in the middle of pulling into an ABC store, and he said, look at this shit. I was like, all right, I'll take a look at it. I think it looks
Look at
great.
shit,
It's a
pal.
clean-looking screen. It's a clean-looking screen.
Pal.
I enjoy it.
Clean like a Safeway chicken. Say it like Dusty Rhodes. Hey, looking clean like a Safeway chicken. Go ahead.
Your mother's a whore.
That's not the words I'm looking for, pal.
What's that?
Why? Why?
I'm not
damn,
sure why.
Johnny Fingers again.
Johnny Fingers.
That's great. Food's great. Great time. Great league. Great wrestling. Great part of it. Big people doing great work. Great AEW. Great wrestlers. Great streak of shows.
This show's been just great.
It's been great.
An hour and 10 minutes, pal. 1, 10, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15.
I'm taking the money. I'm going to go play the lottery.
With what? Gil's $9.99?
No, yeah. So if I win Gil, we're going to split it, pal. Me, you, and Larry. We win it, we split it.
That's perfect. That's perfect. And go across the country, pick up Johnny Finger
by the
tips
way,
and go for a drive.
after the show, if you guys have got some ideas, put them in the comments on what you want to hear about. We would love to hear that. We'd like to hear some input on what you guys would like to hear about, what you'd like to talk about, what do you want to discuss. I've got other hobbies. I've got other interests in wrestling. I'd like to hear what the crowd wants to talk about. Quite honestly, like we cover the dark side, but I mean, I don't know if a whole lot of people know who Chris Adams was. Quite frankly, he was a piece of shit. We know that.
He was bad. I like to just have a segment on the show to talk about where's MJF.
You've been dying to talk about this for weeks, and I know
Where
MJF
is Maxwell Jacob Friedman? Where is he? He went to
is.
Philly. He went to Philly a couple of weeks ago during
He
WrestleMania
did.
week.
He
He
did.
talked to Tony Khan. He was out the door right away. He was gone. Did not hang around. They had a quick meeting and he was out. So I would say that he's no longer signed.
Johnny's not
to
letting this
AEW.
go.
But we'll find out. We'll find
Like
out
a
because
dog with
the pay-per-view this weekend is called Dynasty. And when he was in MLW, before he came to AEW, his group, his faction was called the Dynasty.
I'm telling you now.
Somehow the unshaven Jergens lotion buying by the court crowd out there are saying MJF is coming back for Dynasty because his group was called the Dynasty over at MLW, so the Dynasty is going to come back and they're going to be at AEW. He's going to come back and stuff.
He's coming back. He's already re-signed, I'm sure. Oh, dear
Yes.
God, will you stop? Well, I do sound like freaking Mean Gene sometimes with you. Jesus.
Will you stop? Gorilla Monsoon, not Mean Gene.
Sorry, yeah, Gorilla Monsoon. Mean Gene. Mean Gene was also my favorite, so I like him.
Mean Gene was great. Mean Gene was
Don't touch me,
fantastic.
pal. I've got lawyers.
Dude,
Take us home.
That
Take us
guy was so tan.
You told
When I
me.
saw him in person, it looked like he had shoe polish all over his face. He was so brown, so tan. It was incredible the way he looked. He looked like he could have hosted the Miss Universe pageant. He had the suit on and the I don't know if it was a fake tan or not. He looked magnificent, surrounded by the Nitro girls. And he said, "There goes Kurt Hennig. He owes me $20. I'll be right back."
That was his classic outline.
That was his outline. That was his outline. You know what our classic outline is?
Until next week, Gordon Soley saying so long from the Sunshine State.